Hello and welcome to our first episode of RTK School of War. I am Arcanon, a Sergeant at Arms with the RTK, and today we're going to talk about Javelins. Specifically, how to play Javelins, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and what the best generals to use with them. Personally, I like to use Javelins with Caesar as a running support. Usually the build I go with 1 cavalry and 2 javelins, but this time in order to demonstrate it I'm going to go with 3 javelins on a lower tier to demonstrate at its core what playing javelins is about. I was going to give a kind of a theoretical basis for a few minutes, but well, seeing as how experience is the best teacher and the closest thing we can get to an experience is a demonstration, an exemplar demonstration. Instead, we're gonna see how javelins can be played in action. So let's continue. During deployment phase, as a support player, you will want to deploy behind your main lines, and during the battle, you will want to follow them closely in order to benefit, so that they can benefit from your Vici and your divide and conquer. Now, you might also think, wouldn't that put your javelins in danger of the enemy archer fire, which is correct. However, what javelins can do outside of their huge burst damage is they've got high shield block, highest shield block among all the skirmishers. This allows them to endure the enemy archer fire long enough to turn the tide as soon as they can get close. You need to decide if you can get close or not in those situations. We're not going to be taking a look at it here. So here you can see me trying to decide which way to go, and in general you want to go with the strongest flank, especially if you're playing randoms. If you're not playing randoms, you will want to go to your assigned position. But when you're playing with randoms, you don't want to take chances. So we have used the Veni, which the only reason we use it here is for that 5% speed bonus. What we also do here is, by coming from behind, is increasing the morale of the units that we are supporting here, by supporting their back flank. This is a little quiet. Let's turn the sound up. Here I'm asking my allies to push because we do not see any enemy, and at this point, if they had any artillery, we would know. So we're assuming there is no artillery. As you can see now, one thing I would like to point out is that I am keeping my javelins close together, but not stacked upon one another. This is very important because this can save you from the cavalry charges that cost the enemy more, costing the enemy more to charge than it does damage to you, by just spreading your units. The same thing goes for the enemy missile fire. If the enemy decides to throw a volley on you and you cannot dodge it, if you simply do not see it, then spreading around will help, and here we are gonna see it. As you can see, he did not spread them enough, so he has lost one of his units. And look at this damage right here. Horses are much larger target than infantry, so even though I'm shooting right into the center, I'm killing so much more horses than I do the infantry. Now that I've killed sufficient amount, I'm doing more friendly fire than I do normal damage. So what I do in this situation is use focus fire. Focus fire is your best friend when you're supporting the melee. In the meanwhile, I have activated one of my Vici. Vicis do not stack by intensity, so you want to use them one by one, and it has a pretty long cooldown. Okay, so you see we have a Pila exchange going on right here. Receive a bit of damage from there, but our Pila is stronger than theirs, so it's worth it. A bit of a friendly fire, but that's the question. And now, take a look. See, the scouts have walked around our line. This will happen a lot, especially if we're playing against good players. Now, let's see what maneuver can we make to mitigate this damage. Now, here I would like to point out that he has missed his charge, and if he went this way, he would have gotten some of these men, none of these, and maybe some of the javelins over here. Now let's see how we punish him for this. Now, as you can see, he is also continuing his attack. The reason he's doing this, the skirmishers cannot fire while they are engaged in melee, even if one of them are engaged. So, I'm spreading my units and then shooting at scouts. The friendly fire is acceptable because I'm shooting them from behind, which is very important. Now, this is here comes the difficulty of playing the Javelins, which is that continued fire and that you do a lot of damage. This includes the friendly fire. So you can't just shoot, especially behind your line. See how I'm firing with the focus fire? See, it's doing minimal friendly fire here. Now, I notice that here there's an opening of our allies, which means I can shoot straight to here to the units that are over there without focus fire. It's important to seize these advantages. Now, Warband is trying to push through these open lines, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm spreading my units, preventing them from getting caught. My ally supports me, as I have supported him before. And then, focus fire. This has bought us enough time. Using Vici, we have swung the tide of the melee fight into our favor, which bought our raiders enough time to go around to finish the battle and deliver coup de grace. Which is just a French word for the finishing blow, I think. I don't know, my French is not that good. So yes, I try to keep my javelins as close as possible because the Vici's range is very small.
We have units under attack. Our allies lie among our targets. We must stop.
In higher tiers, your Vici will be able to do more damage. Will be able to increase your morale as well. We had a little bit of a lag there. Remember, safety first. Safety always comes first. See, now this unit, its Vici is on cooldown, which means in order to increase its safety, I'm keeping it behind the lines. Now, I have noticed that one of those milites are facing towards me, which means I can automatically fire while doing minimal friendly fire. You will almost always will do friendly fire. The question is, when are you doing more normal damage than friendly fire? When you notice that, see, now here you saw I have already killed 300 men. All through focus fire by using these basic things. Arena is all about the basics. Get the basics right, the rest of it is just teamwork. It's easy to learn, very difficult to master, especially with this high-risk unit such as Javelin. See, Vici is always active. You can see I'm complimenting my my ally for this very nice formation they have got going on there. Here I make a very big mistake. Here I would like to point out the mistake that I made. Instead of attacking my enemies, I have focus fired on my allies, and look at the damage that I just did on them. This is huge. This is like, look at this. They have lost 9,000 health. This was about half, like maybe a quarter of their entire health, simply because of one misclick. This unit, with a single volley, this was a single volley. From the front, so the shield block was still active. So imagine from the side, it's devastating. More Vici. Now I see that even with, this is where situation, even focus fire will not be able to help me, and I realize that way too late. But I realize I can still help my allies through Vici. And this is exactly why Javelins are paired so well with Caesar. This is an alternative way of playing with Caesar. And now that we have won that grand melee, we are pushing towards capturing the base. And here you can see my attempts at memeing. But yes, this is the general thing. Keep your javelins safe, keep them spread, because sometimes you cannot help it. You will get charged, so what you do is you minimize your losses by keeping them separate. In the future, on the higher tiers, you will unlock 2 additional abilities. Dash, which allows your javelins to move at a faster speed, which also makes your javelins the fastest skirmisher in the game. The other ability is Raise Shields. Raise Shields is the ability that really makes the javelins shine in archer duels. You see, while archers and slingers have got greater range, making them a very good javelin killers, if their lines are secure. But if they're not, if you can get close enough, you can do a lot of damage thanks to that raised shield. And when it is not, even if you are getting shot at, what you can do, you can combine the dash with raised shields in order to dodge the enemy volley ability. If enemy has Kanane, you can use your dash to dodge the enemy volleys. That's currently I could not show it to you because we did not encounter any archers. But it is, you can still so yes. Well, I hope that helped. Outside of that, dodging volleys is something that takes a lot of practice, but I hope that this demonstrates the basics of using javelins. Well, this was the end of the class. Thanks for joining me, and happy hunting!